2019. So we're glad you're here. And I'm Gene Clavigo.
I am Roger Carroll.
And, we have to have a nice, I think, I talked to Roger a little bit, and we were having I think, kind of a nice, easy webinar to ease us out of the year now. And let me get out of this. I do have a little promotion for you, Raj, I do have to say. Raj has been talking about Wakelet for some time, and I this week have started teaching myself Wakelet. Raj has been so nice and has sent me a group of articles and activities and so forth.
Yeah, in Wakelet lingo, that's a collection.
A collection, yes.
I sent you my collection.
Yes, you did send a collection, and I thank you for that. And I would hope that if anybody else would be interested, maybe you could get in touch with Raj, and he would share that with you as well. But I would recommend, really, having just started this and starting to get into it and saying, this is actually, I think, more efficient, organized than our flipboards were. And I'm going to have to take some of the materials there and kind of translate them maybe over the break to Wakelets. But please take a look at it. Maybe over the break, if you get a chance, do some Wakelet.
We're going to revisit it. I'd say we should do it on a fairly regular basis.
Because
it's got a lot of built-in features that what we talk about all the time, the PLN aspect of it, but is actual use in your classroom for, well, probably middle to upper grades, but there's a whole lot of potential there for good use with it, I think, and we got to explore those.
Yep, and there's my little W up there, my Wakelet, to curate, save into a collection. Very easily done. Very easily done. So, Roger, what we might want to offer is, if there's any interest, even an afternoon, after school webinar dealing with Wakelet or something like that, if there is that kind of interest. So anyhow, generally I start off with a couple of sites for personal learning and personal development. And I think I've probably mentioned this one before. Raj and I both like this guy pretty much, I think, right, Raj? I'm not speaking for you, I hope. But he has some really good stuff. And I'm not sure if you don't have one of his tonight, do you?
Other than in that collection.
Yeah, I thought. I thought, because I thought he had, you had mentioned dealing with activities, dealing with the season and things like that.
Yes, that's coming up.
I thought he had one here. But anyhow, I just saw this article, and I do recommend that you just sign up for his articles. This thing, my goodness, this article right here is huge, but I was kind of interested in this little first portion of it. It says, "I'm finished now. What should I do?" We have a lot of kids who get done early, and then have, if you're looking for things for them to do, which are interesting, motivational, maybe they can learn a little something. This article here is really good, and I do have it on the download page. There's a couple of handouts that you can download, and I will also put it on the recording site. But this collection of 20 sites for students with time on their hand is really great, and it says it's academic and not just games. And if you go down here, by the way, go here and take a look down all the other stuff. If you sign up for his articles, he will send you a pretty good document, a pretty good PDF of a lot of good information as well. But anyhow, where am I here? Right here is the site. And rather than clicking on it, to go quickly so I can get to Raj and give him a lot of time tonight, because I cut him short last week. These are the sites, and I'm not going to go through many of them, but just to show you, and again, notice I've curated all of these sites on a Wakelet collection. Okay. And feel free to make a copy, edit, sign. Wow. So he's asking us to use. Yeah, we've talked about Free Rice before. Just real quickly, Free Rice is a place where students can work on vocabulary or other categories, answer questions, and earn rice. In other words, it's a program to help raise some food for the world, and it's a great thing. And I'm getting, oh my goodness, I'm getting text messages. Excuse me one second. I'm going to turn that off for right now. For the world. So anyhow, that's really cool. That's one of his sites. Another one that he has is called A Google a Day. This is probably for, I would say, high school students. This is cool, and it's every day it changes. And what it does is it asks 3 questions each day, and students are given points and how quickly they can answer. Now, this is brand new. I haven't even looked at it yet, so I'm not going to play with it and everything. But the Challenger mission that carried the first African American into space deployed a multi-purpose satellite for what country? Okay, and notice how the points are going down. And the student is asked to use Google to find the answer. You can get a hint here. Cow. That's the hint. And even show the first letter, I. All right? Okay, I'm going to guess India because of cows. Let's just see for the heck of it. Hey, I got it right, and I got some points. And here comes the next question. They will ask 3 of them. Anyhow, that might be a site that you want to use for some learning how to search and think through that kind of process. It might be a good one. We had this last Monday, the Hour of Code, and I don't remember how many students there were, Raj. There were what?
Over 1,300.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, involved in it. But in case you were not involved and are, hey, this sounds good. These are, this is the site. It's called code.org that will take you to lots of great coding and programming things that you can select based on your level. And this is just let's see, I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one that we used, that was used. And there's some really great sites here that will kind of help students learn coding, logic, game in a game format. And it's really, I think it went over super well from what I could see. It was really great, really well received. We talk about YouTube, another site that he mentions, YouTube channels. And these are just, whenever you join YouTube, you're allowed to post videos, and people sometimes use them as channels which are kind of topic oriented. And this is a great one for lower level students. You might want to take a look through these. And there are a lot of things that students can watch, learn from, that you might want to assign. Hey, if you're done with your work, take a look here. That's really great. Raj, this is the one I like. Have you ever seen this one, Raj? This is cool. It's called Quick Draw. The kids would like this. And I have my mouse here, not my finger. If you have your pads and a finger, to draw with, it's much better. But basically, you're going to draw something, and the computer will try to guess what it is. For example, it says, okay, draw a trombone in under 20 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna, I see circle. See, he got it. He says, okay, it's a trombone. Okay, got it. Okay, now draw a tent. Okay. I see. I don't know. You can't. He's talking to me. What?
I can hear it a little bit.
Yeah, that's a cool thing. I think the kids will love this. Draw a black cat in 20. Wouldn't this be fun for kids? Got it. I don't have the slightest idea. Okay. I have no idea how to draw a cat. Oh, you got a mouse. I see a power outlet. Okay, I just gotta let it go. Oh dear, I ran out. When it gets to the end, okay, he apologized. Let's see. Oh boy, when you get done, I don't remember how you get done here. Uh, oh yeah. Are you sure you want to quit? Quit. It will take you back, and when you're done, it will take you through what you did, what other people did. It's a cool thing. You might want to take a look at that. That is a really cool little site that you would like. And for probably a little bit upper grades, last one, Raj. We've talked about this one before. Google Arts and Culture site. This is phenomenal, and it's as close to AI and so forth than as we can get. There is so much here. It's arts and culture, but there is so much here. Let's see if we can find. Oh yeah. For example, just to show you one little thing that's on here, Machu Picchu. If you've never been there, neither have I, but it will take you there, and you'll notice that you can use I'm using my mouse in the center of my, the ball in the center of my mouse to move it. You can go around it. And then even if you're there, notice the little arrow, you can walk around. Oh, I'm getting into I can't remember where I'm going here. So I don't know if I'm going anywhere wonderful. Anyhow, but you can walk around it. And then when you get here, look around. Let's just see if oh, yeah, okay. Let's go down this way. Oh, now we're getting, see, phenomenal. Give the kids a sight. Let them play with it. This is, again, just a very quick thing. Maybe over the break, if you have a little time, take a look at some of these things. A lot of art here. And if your art teacher is not watching, recommend this to your art teacher. I think this would be really good. Some really good sites for, little work, PLN, and so forth and so on that you might want to add as the guy says, sites for when the students are done and they have time on their hands, and you can get them very, very involved. There are a lot of other ones here that you might want to take a look at. Quiver. Raj, have you ever seen Quiver? I can't tell you what it is, but basically you need a pad for that. And it's you download their coloring pages. Some of them are free, some of them paid for. And you color them, and then you open your pad and camera, and you highlight the picture, and it actually comes to life. It becomes a 3D thing that moves around, and you can move all around the picture and see it from all sides, and it moves and dances and things like that. Terrific little program. If you have an iPad or an Android pad, take a look at Quiver. And with that, Raj, I'm going to turn it over to you, and change presenter. I'm sorry, I'm talking. Okay, Raj, you should have the screen.
Okay.
And we'll see what
you should be seeing my screen.
I'm seeing your screen.
Okay, this is one of those weeks coming up. It's the longest week of the school year, maybe short of spring break and the last week of the school year. But here we are again. The days are dark. Kids are coming to school in the dark. They're going home. It's starting to get dark. They've put in a long stretch. Teachers are tired or beat. And one of the standby easing into a long break tradition has been the showing of a movie in the classroom. And I know we can justify just about anything and tie it to our curriculum. It's a way to just kind of sit back and ride the wave and get to that 3 o'clock bell on Friday. Well, here are some alternatives to doing that very thing. And I'm gonna, this is just a PowerPoint screen. I'm gonna end this in a second. And on the handout tonight, one of the handouts is a link to the full article that's kind of alluded to in these little icons on the screen. All things that are linkable and doable in your classroom if you want to, just change up the pace of instruction this week, and kind of give the kids a break, give yourself a break, and just kind of sit back and let the kids go off on their own direction. Maybe pick a couple of these, maybe open them all up. It's entirely up to you. But again, this goes back, I think, a long time. I remember, oh God, Gene, threading the 16 millimeter movie projector and hoping it didn't start jumping frames or burn out in front of the bulb.
Yeah. Or break the film.
Watching things and all that stuff. Yeah. So things have changed dramatically in the mechanics of all of this, but the whole aspect of, it's a tough week for kids. The younger, the tougher. The other anticipation has built up quite a bit, as ours has probably, for getting a little break in time before we get into the middle of winter and all of that, all what that entails and so on. So I'm going to end the slideshow. There are a couple of other things there. If we have time, we'll go back to it. This is what tonight's handout looks like. So if you get into that, download it. It's downloadable as a PDF from the handouts on your dashboard there. But here are, and I'll just quickly go here. Control click. I didn't have it pre-open, but it should get into it. Leading to that article, it's fairly recent, but I think it touches a lot of bases for us. I'm new to John Spencer. I haven't followed him on his blog that I knowingly have done, but here's a full article with each of the ideas is prefaced with a short video for what he's talking about. And here he is here. And he's talking about the winter break. So this is all fairly current information. Linked, so the links should all work. Here's where I stole that graphic. We've maybe only familiar with the terms of a genius hour, but here is something, a suggested timeline, maybe a couple of days in your class. Here's a description of it and so on. And it goes into each of his ideas. The second idea is a Scratch video game project. Scratch is Gene mentioned it, is kind of one of the first graphical coding websites, and it was developed at MIT a couple of years ago, and it's been revised and updated and so on fairly frequently, and it's a pretty popular site for doing some of those. And there's even how to design a Pong game. Here's some thinking projects. Again, each one of these ideas is prefaced with a short video. Invent a sport. This could be a collaborative small group activity. Going into some video writing prompts. I think any of these, depending on your style and what you see is appropriate for the kids in your classroom, you might want to take that handout, save that link, because we have several of these similar kind of days throughout the course of the school year where you might have some time and then you're looking for something, break up the continuity instruction with a vacation. You can slip in some of these projects for your class, depending on the grade level and so on. And again, each one gives a rough estimate of a timeline, materials, gives a nice description with a nice video introduction as to what's going on. I found those to be, pretty useful, and some great ideas here. Just depends on the commitment that you want to make with all of this. So again, it's to end the semester before a break and so on that you might find something useful there, something that he'll add into your toolbox. And then if you like, you can, join up and follow him on a fairly regular basis, subscribe to his blog, and he's got, I think, a lot of resources. I'm going to revisit him because I am going to be following him for a while just to see, what might be there and useful enough to pass on. There's another little thing I did, and again, it's in the handout. I put it in as a QR code. It's a Microsoft Forms, and we've been talking about that. Microsoft Forms being one of our Office 365 tools. I'm going to log in, show it to you. If you download that, you're more than welcome to do it. I'm going to give you a little eyeball preview of what I did here. And I decided, let's see what all these different things that Forms can do for us. So I'm logging into my 365 account. And this is a Christmas song title rebus, and it is a quiz. So I'm going to load it, and you'll got 3 responses. I've been messing around with it just to see if it worked. So I'll leave the responses there. But a bit of a preview here. These are short response type questions in the quiz. If you're familiar with Microsoft Forms, you know that you can have a multiple choice question. You can do a short response. You can do a number of other styles of questions. So I put this quiz in. There's only one required question. And what I did was I found online I Googled it. It's a rebus of Christmas carols, Christmas songs. So I snipped the graphic and put it in the form of a question. So if we do I'm gonna scroll down a little bit here, you'll see where you can enter your text here. So obviously the answer here would be, well, I don't know if it's obvious or not. This is not a good graphic for that. White Christmas. Okay. And we'll go down to number 2. What's the exact title that this little icon represents? And so on. And of course, it would be, 3 Kings. I'm not going to give all the answers away. You should be able to get them. I like this one. Gene, any idea what this might be?
I am.
I am.
That one.
Santa Baby. That's the title of a song. Big song title. Yeah,
not my favorite. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you'll get this one for sure. I don't want to put pressure on you. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes, I got that.
Up on. Okay, you got Away in a Manger, right?
I thought you would have a scale in there.
Well, if the rebus, I didn't make these.
They're good. It's very clever.
I like this one, number 5.
Oh yes, I got it.
Okay.
There's only 25 letters there. How about a hint?
Yes, and what's missing? Oh, there is Noel. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
And there's Noel in clever either. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
That's good.
Silver Bells.
Yes.
This is one everyone.
That little kid keeps popping up. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting older too. He's no longer a baby, huh? Now he's a boy.
Maybe Elvis's favorite here.
Yes. Yes.
And so on. The handout has a QR code and a link to this. And what I put in was a link so that if you want to, you can actually duplicate this, put your own spin on it, maybe change it up to multiple choice questions and so on, and make it your own. But this is using Microsoft Forms. I put in a nice themed background. I uploaded, I took a picture, saved it, put that in the background, entered the images for each. Let's go down to kind of like the last one. There's only 10 of them, but
Oh, yes.
I
Oh, I
like
thought that
this
was the
one.
last one.
No, this is the bonus one. This is the only required question.
Hmm.
And the bonus question, and you'll notice now, if you haven't been using forms in a while, notice the little symbol here. You can, any one of these questions, if there's a bit of text involved, you can enter into the immersive reader for it and have the question read to you. What is the name of the other reindeer who used to
Yeah.
laugh at Rudolph and never let him play his reindeer games? And here it is his multiple choice.
Yes.
I can't wait to see if my grandchildren get this, and they'll groan and roll their eyes at me.
Yeah.
But again, I love the feature now that the immersive reader can be built in. So
Yeah.
it evens the playing field for a number of kids. So I'll leave that linkable. The correct answers when you go into, I'll go back. I'll just show you the first one. When you build these questions, now I'm looking at it in my ownership mode. Here is, you can edit your answer, and then the correct answers appear here. Now, when you're doing a short, extended text answer, a text-based answer, you can put in some variations of it. Like for Three Kings, I put in the numeral 3 and then Three Kings. It doesn't parse it exactly, like kids don't have to worry about capitalization or anything, but you need enough variations in it so that it would recognize a correct response. And then for each question, if I go in here, I'm not going to edit, I just show you what happens. When you go into the edit mode, I can add an additional, don't have enough room on my screen here. I can add an additional correct answer here. This always appears, and you can edit it and move it around and so on. So again, this is Microsoft Forms, just one of its really, I think, user-friendly ways to work with it. And for each question, like over here, if I click it here, I can get rid of this, and then it would give me a prompt where I could insert another image if I like, and so on. But we've talked about this really nice, I think tremendously friendly, nice tool for our tool bag in Microsoft and Office 365. Again, it's forms. You've got a whole lot of options with it. We've talked about it. We've done a little deeper dive on it and so on. But I really do like the all the features that are built into it. But again, it's Microsoft Forms. It is automatically saved when you go into one. And the forms, just to quickly retrace some of probably what we already know about it. A new form is like a survey. If you want to poll your kids or some things, you would be using a form. Or if you're doing some grading, you would create a quiz. And notice in this one, I did add a point value for each of the questions. So if you did this sort of a contest, you could right down at the very bottom of the screen, I don't know how well you can see it if I scroll a little bit, there you go. You would give it a point value and totally, you make it based it on 100. And when I put in the final question, I made it super, I think I made it worth 50 points. So kids can get it, if they get everything correct, they would get 150 points and so on. But as a quiz, if this was based on your curriculum or you can even do math in this if we have demonstrated in the past, you can do it and have it automatically scored, and you can have it put on a spreadsheet. And I think they are very close to making it a PowerSchool Pro compatible, so that it could be uploaded right into your grade book, which would, you wouldn't have to touch a piece of paper to get a quiz graded and uploaded and recorded in your grade book. So that's just, again, that's a nice thing. Again, the link is so that it could be copied. So you can take that idea, make it your own, rename it, whatever, and it would be in your Forms library in your Office 365. So that's really kind of neat. And again, we'll probably revisit Forms a couple times. We've talked about some of its other features, the branching and so on down the line. And we do it for, maybe starting a lesson off, what do you know, maybe doing some quick checking for understanding, or use it as an exit ticket. You can even, if you're using Microsoft Teams, you could make it put it in for an assignment or a homework assignment and share it out that way. But it's got a lot of versatility. That it really is kind of neat. Now we're going to change things up completely, Gene. I want to add. Let's go by way of demonstration here. Okay, I want to take a revisit with our Flipgrid, and I want to show you this little thing I've been working on. I had some granddaughters helping me out this week when they visited, but I want to show you by way of example, one of the things you can do very easily with a Flipgrid and your students in your class and so on. And we mentioned in last week's webinar, and again in response to an inquiry with the IS department, Mr. Granieri, that you can activate, if it isn't already active on your laptops, you can activate the camera by going to the Microsoft Store and downloading the app or the little routine that would activate the camera if it's not working, because this is camera dependent. I think most of our devices in the school have the keyboard facing camera, so you could flip it around and use it that way. But let me bring this up. I'm mirroring right now my cell phone, and I want to show you. I'm gonna notice I'm in. This is the app. This is the Flipgrid app, and I'm signed in already. I have an account. It's free. But if you want to join a Flip, and we'll revisit that. But basically, what I want to do now is do this routine here. I want to scan a Flipgrid code. Now, it's been sitting dormant on my desk here for a little bit. I hope it's still active. There I am. Now, you really can't hear it. It's there. There it is on my. And I'll end it. That is a QR code created from within my Flipgrid account, and I printed it out. Let me go back to just look at the camera here. And I printed it out on a little piece of paper with a little graphic, and you can move it anywhere you want. You can place this. I put one as an ornament on our Christmas tree with my granddaughter saying something on it. And if you're using the app and you scan it, you go into a little bit of augmented reality. So now I'm just in my iPhone's camera, and let me go back again to this. And it should, well, I actually took it off the screen. This would lead to a different link, but you'll notice now if I go back to the app here, because I've used one aspect of the routine in Flipgrid, if I just scan it again, it goes into this augmented reality thing, and it automatically launches the little video, and you can see it playing there. If there was some live action, you would see that as well. So it's really neat. Kids, you could do this in your class with your kids. It's very easy. You do it once or twice, you'll be a practicing expert in it. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm not mirroring anymore. Let's go into my Flipgrid. And this is a free account. It is tied to Microsoft. They are working with one another to enhance all of the features that currently exist in it and more. I'm going to go into my account. And you've seen, if you've been in any of our most recent webinars, you'll recognize some of these screens. So here I am in my Flipgrid account, and think of a grid would be a class. If you teach, you know, at the elementary level, your grid would be a class. You can have as many grids as you want. They might be unnecessarily complicating things if you had quite a few of them. If you're at the secondary level, you might want to create a grid for each section that you teach for different periods of the day and so on. So here are the two grids, and within each grid you can have, I think it's fairly unlimited, an unlimited number of topics. So let's take a look at the Sunday night webinar. And I have roughly 11 topics, and I've just been playing around in here, finding them, borrowing them, in quotation marks, and adapting them for my purpose. This is one that I created. This has, well, there are two videos in here. Let's take a look at this. Log. Well, it wants me to log back in. I can do that using my school account, my Alpha 365 account. So here is that topic. Now, again, it's not very wordy. It could be, but notice again how it's cooperating with the immersive reader. So I can click on the immersive reader. If you had you know, several sentences and some detailed instructions, and you put this out to students, they could use the immersive reader, have it read to them. So this is just simply a simple directions. Add a 15-second video for a Christmas greeting. And here we are. Here is the one that you just were looking at through the QR code. Here is another one with my granddaughter. This is what you're looking at is kind of like an icon, or within the routine when you're taking the video, it says take a selfie of yourself. So this would be a selfie of Buddy the Elf, and you put that on as like the cover of the routine of the Flipgrid that you created. So if we take a look at this, there it is again. And down here at the bottom, this is where you would create a reply to it. What this does is activate the camera, and then you could respond to Buddy by adding your own Christmas wish. If I click on this, the camera on my computer here will activate, and it would record and allow me to record a response to the prompt of sending out a Christmas wish, and so on. This is the next one. All I did was go next door. This is one of my granddaughters. She's learning how to activate Alexa and trying to get Alexa to play Baby Shark. And she's doing a little bit of sign language with it and so on. So I recorded that, but here is the cover for that. And again, I could not stress enough how really easy this is once you get going to it. It's got a number of built-in resources where you can get a whole lot of ideas, copy them, and so on. Let's go back to our Flipgrid. I want to go back to the home page. Go into my grid, dark mode. I see a lot of that lately. I'll go in, let's go back to I want to go to Home Center. Well, again, that's the dark mode. Go to the Help Center. Oh, actually, I don't know. I want to go to the resources. And within the whole thing of Flipgrid, there are a huge number of resources to help you get going with ideas and suggestions and so on. Let's take a look, go back to flipgrid.com. I think it may have signed me out, but I want to look at the resources here that we were looking at a second ago. We talked about these a few weeks ago, where you can find a whole lot of help for getting started. As this one says right here, for getting started with the, let me shade, yeah, here we are, we're getting started with Flipgrid, the basics. It's a simple sign-on, just register for it, and use your Office 365 credentials, and you're in. And you have access to all of this information, ideas, get out of, change the arrows and so on. All kinds of support. The first couple of Flipgrids that you do with your student, they may be a little bit camera shy, and there are some really nice tools and little activities on how to help students overcome that. And want to take a look at some of the integration documents. Here we go. And all of these resources are adaptable. You can pick and choose. Here are some that I've shown previously by subject area, by grade level, and you can take a look at those. You can add them to a collection of that you make your own for building your own library of resources. Let's go back here. The Disco Library, I don't know why they call it that, but anyway, it is a collection here. It references roughly 10,000 different topics, pre-designed Flipgrids that you could use. I'm going into it here. And you can look at here's the library here. And just, you need some time to go through and find the ones that you're interested in using, reusing, and adapting for yourself. What I do, and I think, Gene, you probably do it as well, when we're looking at previously used anything, I look to see how many times a video has been shared, how many views it's had, and so on. And the more, the better, would tell me that this is probably a pretty popular one, probably well designed, since so many people have gone into it and taken it for their own. And again, there are roughly 10,000 of them. Featured ones, they do things like some of the hot topic ones. Here are some actual templates you could follow. Okay, a little disclaimer here. We're going to take a look at, I mean, there's, as they say, you know, thousands and thousands of them. Mixtapes, once you get into this, you would create what's called a mixtape. Now, you're used to, with your music library, you make your own, create your own playlist. A mixtape is like a playlist, but it's a collection of, say, your greatest hits. If you wanted to, say, towards the end of the school year, as you have had a number of kids create videos and create Flipgrids and responses and so on, you can collect them into a mixtape and add it to a collection and use it as a showcase for, say, an end of the year activity and so on. This is another nice activity for this last week prior to a break, where kids could go into create their Flipgrid and share it. Because again, whatever ones we look at, we go in and look at it. We look at it as, this is, view it as a student. There's an option for you to leave a reply. So you could post up as a teacher a Flipgrid inviting students to contribute to a given topic. You may have, to go back, like I said, I have 9 different topics that I've been playing around with. One has to do with, maybe you're reading, the class is reading collective reading, or individuals are reading a book, and they can share out reviews of a book or talk about a book that they're reading maybe in a small group and so on. So it has, I think, a whole lot of potential. Let's see if I can go back to my topics here. I want to find it. And go to my dashboard and look at my topics. Here's one on a book talk. This is one I think I showed last time. It had to do with guessing who the speaker is, because you can, when you create a grid, you can alter it with, you can pixelate it, you can put stickers on it, you can add emojis to it, you can do a whole number of things with it. So and now with a little bit of time coming up, maybe you find yourself with an hour or two, maybe the kids are off returning gifts and so on. Go into Flipgrid and familiarize yourself with the interface and look at some of these topics, play around with them, try them. You can always delete them if you don't like what you did and so on. But I think, you know, getting a class, once you get into it, you will find it is really easy. And you can collaborate. This is what Add a Copilot is for a grid. You can share it out and so on. One last thing I want to look at here is called shorts. Now, the terminology takes a little used to, but shorts is a really short video, as it might imply. But when you record a short, that's what I was showing you with the QR, because that QR code that I was using when I was showing it on my iPhone, that creates that AR, that augmented reality effect. You saw it came up, Buddy the Elf was talking, but as I moved the camera around, the phone around, you could see everything else in the background. And this created a really nice effect. Like I say, I created one of these and put it on the Christmas tree for my granddaughter to look at, and it just a really nice effect. So again, kids could do this, share them out. I think it's safe to say that an awful lot of our probably students' parents have a smartphone. The app itself is free. You could give them maybe a handout with some directions, reminding that it is a free download, and just how you quickly scan that code and you have a really nice effect, and maybe it might be sending out a greeting to the family and so on. There are a number of really interesting ideas that you could pursue in the classroom, collectively on a wall. Kids could be reading a passage from a book or reciting a poem or saying something like that they want to share visually. Again, the added dimension of this is the video aspect of it. You're not sharing them on the internet, you're sharing them internally with the class, students within your class and so on. So it will be family members. So I don't think there is an issue with any of that as well. It's not like they're going online to a site, they're just activating this little routine. Any comments, Gene?
Not that I saw. I was
thoughts?
watching you and I forgot to look for the comments.
Okay.
Others, and I guess others have been doing the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
One last little thing I've got. Let me put this up. This was silly. I never got to it last week. I came across a topic somewhere. It was in a blog or a tweet or something, and logic questions, logic puzzles, and you could put this in the form probably of a Microsoft Forms with some options. Is the following statement true or false, and then explain what you think. I never tell the truth. I used to say this to my classes, that I never tell the truth. And of course, over the heads of most of them, but then, hey, wait a minute. If you never tell the truth, are you telling the truth when you say that? So it gets, just to get them thinking. Along those same lines are these. There's one and one that follows this. Which of these three statements is correct? And then what you would ask the students to do would be, this is just a fun thing, is, okay, explain your reasoning. Why do you believe what you believe about which statement is correct? And again, the same idea. A simple Google search would take you to a whole resource full of all of these things. So that about wraps it up, Gene, for my side of things tonight.
Well, I do have a little more, but it's about 5 of 8, and maybe well, if you want to give it back, we want to just say season's greetings and everything. And I've got one little season's greeting slide. It's very, very, yeah.
There you go.
Thank you. And let's just, whoops, that went by quickly. And what what we'd like to do is, again, wish everybody, as Raj was saying, a good week this week again. And have a great time, a relaxing time with your families, and if you have some time or you're bored, maybe take a look at some of those sites that we showed you this evening. There might be some that you can, as Raj said, use at other times. They're not all oriented toward these holidays, and it'd be great.
Right. And if you're going to put the video up, and
Yes,
the resources,
I will.
they're there if they didn't get to downloading them. Again, take a close look. And then in the follow-up survey, please take the time to do that and let us know if you're interested in a little more intense look at some of these resources that we've talked about and what we're looking at next year. There are some things coming up, some things we're going to visit and revisit with Microsoft. And I think we want to spend some time on Wakelet to see, how you can use it personally, individually in this professional learning network, as well as with your students and classes, because it's got a lot of features and it's getting a lot of attention by educators and how it can be used. So it's a nice tool. It's more than just a simple collection of bookmarks. It can be, you can put video in, you can upload files to it. There's a whole lot that we can do with Wakelet to make life easier.
It's better than Pinterest. God.
Yeah, and like you said, we've come through a couple of iterations of these social bookmarking things.
Yeah.
I liked Flipboard a lot when I was using it. I've now looked to this.
Yeah.
And I you can do a lot with that. So we'll again take some time with that in the new year.
And we hope you again have a great couple of weeks, and hope to see you in January. I'm not sure what the exact date is, Raj. We'll discuss that, and we'll be putting that up and sending out the emails. So
I guess it'll either be the first or second weekend. Back. Schools reopen the second. But we'll see what's going on, what our availability is, and so on, and travel and so on. Yeah.
We will say go Bills, and we'll get you after the football game or wherever else you're going, and we'll see you next year. So again, thank you very much.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all.
Thank you.